Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to do the longest review we've ever done on this channel of the Illenium album, the remix edition. It is time to go over 45, not 10, 20, 30, but 45 of these remixes. I cannot believe, I thought it was going to be like the last album. But honestly, I really think that the large amount of these remixes really add to the album in every single way, because every single one is very good. Like, I really enjoy this album, even though it's very long. I think I loved that they remixed basically almost, I think, every single song in the album, which is something we're going to check out today. And it is very perfectly ordered. And most importantly of all, there are so many new remixes. One of my biggest criticisms of the Fallen Embers remix album was that there were very little new remixes on that one. When the day was released, like most of the ones there were ones that we've already heard before. For example, a lot of the remixes there were released as singles like many months prior, even like a year, I think, before the album was released. But this one, it is completely the opposite. Sure, there's a lot of remixes we've heard before, but it is less than half of the new remixes that we see in the Illenium new album. And honestly, I'm really excited to go over each and every single one. So what I'm gonna do is like go over each one, state my opinions, and I gotta say before that there are some here that I really enjoyed, and others that I like listened to a couple times, but other than that, I didn't really like feel much about them. So if I go over them very quickly, I'm sorry, but I'm really excited to do. And also with the time constraints, I think we're gonna have enough time to just go over each and every one. But yeah, without further ado, let's go. I'm gonna go over each one and then state my opinions. So kicking off the album, we have 5 remixes of Starfall, starting with Trivecta's remix of Starfall. And Trivecta is one of my favorite artists of all time. I think he is an amazing melodic bass producer. He is very big on Ophelia Records. And over the last couple of years, I've watched him evolve. And his last remix for Illenium was Fractures, which is one of the most popular remixes, I think. And it is very good. And it was going to be very tough to follow that one. But I gotta say that this remix was amazing. It is full of like Trivecta's new like production style. It is heavy in some parts. It has like a lot of charm and magic to it that makes it very different from the original song, but adds this artist's amazing flair to it. So I really like this one, and it's obviously very good, but I think I like the next two very much more. Then continuing, we have Lost Prince remix of Starfall. And Lost Prince is kind of like a house producer. Like, it adds very soft and beautiful feelings to this song, and I just really liked it. I think this one and the Gem and Tauri remix are really good, really soft. Like, you can enjoy it at a beach. Like, I just think of this one to like kicking back and just feeling the beautiful sounds of the remix. And because the original song was very intense, this one adds a much softer feel to it, and I just loved it. And I love listening to this one so many times. The next remix is very similar. It's more of a like that relaxing house feeling to Starfall, and it is the Gem and Tauri remix. And Gem and Tauri is a very amazing duo. For like, they released a lot on Ophelia Records too, a lot of like really soft melodic house anthems, and I think this one is really amazing. It adds that very special feeling. It is just one of those songs that you just gonna want to kick back, relax, and enjoy it very much. And yeah, I just like those two a lot. They're actually some of my favorite remixes in the album because of the beautiful feeling it has. Then we have the Ethos, or 3 Ethos, I don't know how to pronounce that, I think it's Ethos, and Drayden remix. And I like this one. I've heard a couple of Drayden songs before, and it's kind of like a dubstep feeling. It has kind of like that heavier style to it, and I liked it, but it didn't stand out as much as the next one, which is the VLCN remix. So VLCN is an artist that has released on Subsidia over the last couple of years. I think he is a good dubstep artist. I haven't listened to many of his songs, to be honest, but I gotta say that this remix like knocked it out of the park. It is just an amazing remix. I liked it a lot. I think it's very cool. It has a really powerful drop, and I just liked it a lot. I think it's really interesting and fun. Now we have 3 remixes for All That Really Matters, and it's the Will Clark, Mike Williams, and Crystal Skies. And they were all released before in the All That Really Matters EP, remix EP, and they were pretty good. I think the Will Clark and Mike Williams didn't stand out that much to me. I gotta be honest, like most of like the softer housey remixes that like don't really stand out much, but the Crystal Skies one was really good. I think this one ranks in the middle of the Crystal Skies remixes for Illenium. I love a lot of their songs. They're one of my favorite melodic bass producers. I love their stuff on Ophelia Records. Their last album was really experimental, but I really enjoyed it too, and this remix does the best with it. I think their abilities are really put to the test here, and it does really deliver a good remix. It's not as experimental as their remix they released for the Ascend album. That one was really interesting. This is more traditional Crystal Skies, but I really enjoyed it. Now, in Worst Day, we have 3 remixes. The Nicodemus remix is a new one, and this one is really interesting. It's kind of like more classic melodic bass. I liked it, but it doesn't really stand out compared to the other 2. But it's a good remix. I think like a lot of these like do their best job with what they're presenting, and this one is a good example of that. Now, the Tungavag remix is my favorite of the 3. This one is so good. It's a hardstyle remix of Worst Day, and it's just really fun to listen to. I think it was released a year ago, and ever since then I've been listening to it. It's just really fun, and I just really like the hardstyle remixes of Illenium songs. I think this one does a good job with it, and I really liked it. My favorite by far. So now we have the Fight Club and Tanner Guard remix. I like this one. I like house. I think the house remixes of these songs are really chill and beautiful. But other than that, it doesn't really stand out that much. But I really like the Starfall one more. Like, of all the house remixes, I think those 2 remixes of Starfall are just going to be the best. But these are good examples, too, of good songs. Now, From the Ashes is another one of my favorite Illenium songs from the last album. I think this one is really good. And Jessica Audifred really delivers an amazing remix. I think this one kind of contrasts with her style compared to Illenium. I think she's been doing a lot of more melodic stuff recently. And this one just really shows a lot of that amazing feeling. And also with the heavy drops, there's a lot of contrast with like within the choruses, kind of like a more softer, sadder feeling. And then there's like a clashing dubstep drop. And a lot of people might think that that is kind of like contradictory, but I think it works here. I think those kind of songs that combine heavy and melodic sad are always the best, and I like that Jessica Audifred is moving into that kind of style. So now we got the Paul Van Dyck remix of From the Ashes, and this one is good. It's another one of the house remixes. I think this one is very good. It has that kind of like that same feeling that makes these songs more enjoyable, like more playable in house sets, and I think this one is pretty good. I liked it, but other than that, it doesn't really stand out much. And yeah, now let's go into the next one, which is the Lifeline Caslow remix. Now, I've only listened to a couple Caslow songs, but this one is really, really good. I think this one makes the most out of like that pop punk melodic style that a lot of bass artists are starting to do. Like, for example, Youth in Circles, another amazing Mexican artist, is doing a lot of pop punk stuff mixed with melodic bass, and it just works so well. Also, Masare has been doing a lot of that stuff, and it's just amazing. They also both have remixes in this album, and the song Lifeline is one that the pop punk influences are very heavy in it, and this one makes the most out of it. It adds like a very distinct and beautiful flair to it, and I just liked it. I think it was good, and yeah, very enjoyable. Now we have my second favorite remix in the album, which is the Vanek remix of Eyes Wide Shut. So Eyes Wide Shut is one of my favorite songs in the album too. I think I've been playing it so many times, like over and over. It's just so good, so great, and I never imagined that it could be topped, especially because I thought the other remixes that were released were kind of underwhelming, but I gotta say that Vanek knocked it out of the park. And I've only listened to a couple Vanek songs, but this one really, really does a great job. I think this one is just so beautiful with the first drop. It's just so magical with the kind of like the twinkling lights, whatever, like that sound is just so good. And I thought that was going to be the height of it, but the second drop really made my jaw drop so hard because the drum and bass in the second drop is just so amazing, and like mixed with Avril Lavigne's vocals in the song, it's just so good. And honestly, I just love that song so much. I love the Vanek remix of Eyes Wide Shut, and yeah, I just, this is one of my favorite ones. I've been playing it over and over, and just the second drop hits so hard. That's probably the main reason why I love it so much. Now, the Culture Code remix was released before. It is a melodic bass track, and I like this one. Like, I like all kinds of melodic bass, but sometimes I feel like there are songs that I've heard a lot of times before, and this one kind of sounds like that. It has its moments, but other than that, it didn't really stand out that much to me. Then the Sikik remix of Eyes Wide Shut was kind of the same. It had interesting moments. I feel like it like tries new different things, but at the same time, like, it didn't stick out too much. I thought it was okay, and other than that, I just liked it, but I didn't think that much of it. Now we have a very interesting remix because I love this artist so much. Now, Shivering is also one of my favorite songs in like Illenium has released in the last couple of years. It is such a great collaboration with Spiritbox, which is another one of my favorite artists. And Spiritbox and Illenium like created this amazing song Shivering, which is so beautiful. It combines a lot of amazing metalcore vocals, like guttural screaming, and a very crashing drop, and it has a really interesting twist within Humans remix. So Inhuman, which was previously known as Code Pandorum, is a really amazing artist. He's made a lot of different varied stuff like dubstep and deathstep, and he recently released a very different album from a lot of the things he's done. Like this new direction he's been taking with Inhuman is kind of like softer, more focused on techno, on really dark and kind of like less intense feelings. A lot of the Code Pandorum stuff. And that shows a lot in this remix. This remix sounds like a song from his album Arrival, and it's just very good. I liked it, and it's really like it makes you feel like you're in a dystopian city, kind of like the same feelings that Arrival makes you feel, and I just liked it, and it is really amazing. After that, we have 6 remixes of You Were Right, which is one of Illenium's like biggest songs in the album, which is kind of ironic because it is actually one of my least favorites in the album, and even though Wooly and Grabbits are also some of my favorite artists, I feel like they're really amazing artists, but somehow this song didn't really do it that much for me. But the remixes, some of them were good. The Kill the Noise one, like the beginning one, I love Kill the Noise. I think he's one of my favorite artists. He's done a lot of great remixes, but I gotta say this remix was kind of underwhelming. I mean, it's like classic Kill the Noise. It's just really good. The drop is very consistent with his previous work, but I just feel like it could have been more. I feel like this one has kind of like classic Kill the Noise drops with the melodic influences he's had from his years in Affiliate Records, but at the same time, I don't feel like it like did it that much for me. And I gotta say that Kill the Noise is an excellent remixer. Like he remixed one of the best songs I've ever heard. Like his remix of the Seven Lions songs with Andrew Bayer, I think it's just amazing. That remix of Returning to You is like he took that song and made it completely his, and it's just so different from the original, and I feel like that's something I expected out of this one, but in the end it didn't make me feel that way. But it's still a good remix. I think it's just a very enjoyable remix, although very safe. Like I think he played it safe with this one. Then we have the Awaken remix, and I gotta say I enjoyed this one a lot. I think it's very interesting, very unique, and even though it's melodic bass, I feel like it has a very good melody that makes me happy, and it's a good one. I think this one did a lot like more interesting things with the song, and it's actually much more enjoyable than the original. Now the Stryer remix of the song is good. It has some very powerful drops. It's amazing, but at the same time I feel like it could have been more. Like it didn't really stick out that much to me, but like considering all the remixes on this album, I feel like it did a good job. And yeah, that's pretty much all my thoughts on it. Now the next one I felt was very underwhelming. I think the LDRU remix of You're Right, like the beginning, it's kind of sounds very similar to the original song, just a little sped up, but I think that it really picks up on the second half with the drum and bass drop. I think that one like kind of saves the song a little, and it was good. Like it was enjoyable at the beginning, but I feel like if you're into like sped up songs, this one is going to be good for you. But at the same time, I feel like it could have done at least change the drop a little. Like it has some like improvements, but I feel like I expected more like in the beginning. And then in the second one, it's just good. Like I always enjoy a good drum and bass song. Now the next two also I thought were kind of underwhelming, but at the same time I think they have their place in the album. The Friendzone remix, I think it's good. I like the concept, like the melodic, softer, kind of like sadder feel. Makes it a little bit more emotional than the original, but other than that, I feel like it didn't really stick out that much. And the same with Bass Physics. I felt like this remix didn't really stand out that much compared to other songs, but I think it was okay. Now, next we have Insanity Mazzare remix, and Mazzare is another one of my favorite artists. I think he is very formulaic, but at the same time, it's just good. Like, I don't think you'd really have to change, like, something that is already great, because I feel like a lot of his songs, a lot of his remixes are, like, sound very similar, just melodic, drum and bass with guitars on it, and that, like, really powerful pop-punk feel that makes you really happy and, like, want to run for miles and miles on end. And I don't think you really have to change that feeling. I feel like his formula works really well with his remixes, and this one is no different. I think Insanity, this remix, makes it a lot better than the original. And yeah, Mazzare, I think it's just great. And yeah, I really like the remix. Now the next remix, I think it's one of the most interesting ones in the album, and also one of my favorites. It is Drown Chenda remix. And I had never heard a Chenda song before, but Drown for me was one of the best songs in Illenium because it is a sample of Bring Me the Horizon song Drown, which is one of my favorite songs. It does so many great things with it. I feel like that song is just so unique with Illenium style, and this one just takes it and completely flips it over in a way that is so unique and so amazing. I feel like this remix is just so good, and yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it's so beautiful, and like the way, like it sounds very different from a lot of the other bass songs and melodic bass songs that I've heard before. And yeah, it's just really amazing. I liked it, and yep, pretty great song. So after those two remixes, we have 5 remixes of Other Side, and each one is interesting, but there were 2 that really stood out to me. First, we have the Cadmium one, and sadly, that is not one of the 2 that stood out to me. This one is okay. It's kind of like more melodic. It takes it in interesting directions, but other than that, I didn't really like listen to it that many times. Then we have the Sad Boys and Neo remix. I think that this one did a lot more with the song, but at the same time, I think it was like pretty standard melodic based stuff. It has some interesting moments and a really powerful emotional melody, but at the same time, I think it could have done more with it. But then we have the one that I really enjoyed. I think the If Found remix of Other Side was beautiful. I think this is one of the best remixes in the album for a lot of great reasons. And If Found is an artist that I've come to enjoy over the years. He has a couple songs that are pretty hit or miss. Like he has some really great ones and ones that are okay. But this one just is so beautiful. Like the melody on it is just amazing. It's very unique, very different from his other stuff. I feel like he's applied some new production techniques because it's just really different from that. And yeah, I just really enjoyed this one, and it's just beautiful. If you listen to it, you'll know what I'm talking about because it is just great. Then Heroic takes the song and flips it over in another amazing way. I feel like this one has some really powerful drops and just some really interesting like dubstep drops that remind me of like previous years in the dubstep eras, and I just liked it. I think it was really fun too. And the next one also is one of the ones that stood out to me so many times. So the Techno remix of Other Side is just so good. It is another one of those songs that you put on, you relax, you listen to it, and it is just beautiful. And Techno, I think he makes a lot of different, like similar songs to that one that are just like for, beach parties, for relaxing sessions, just a really amazing, relaxing music. And this one took me a couple listens to get into it. When it was released, I don't know why I didn't listen to it enough times. But right now, I just realized like how good it is. And yeah, I just love these remixes. Set the Sky and Illenium's amazing song, Other Side. It is just so good. And yeah, pretty amazing. Okay, now we have 3 mixes of I Want You to Stay. And I gotta be honest with you guys, like neither the original song or these 3 remixes really did it for me. I didn't like really get into it. I thought it was okay. Like, and now like these 3, I just I listened to them a couple times and for preparation for this review. But other than that, I didn't really like them that much. I listened to a lot of slow magic songs before, but other than that, I felt like it just didn't hit me hard, like either one of these 3. So I'm just gonna leave it like that. Now, With All My Heart is a beautiful song. It is one of my favorite Illenium songs of this year. And they released 2 remixes in preparation for this album, and those 2 remixes are very similar, but for some reason the Surf Mesa remix like really is so much better than the Cedric Gervais one. I think Surf Mesa really took the song and made it such a beautiful anthem. There's especially parts like during the 45-second mark that is just so beautiful and so like powerful. Like it just made me feel so good. And this song is just one of those that you put it on and it's so good and so relaxing. And I think that Surf Mesa just did a great job with the song. And the Cedric Gervais one was also really good. It's very similar, but for some reason the other one really struck a chord with me, and I really recommend it. Now, of the 4 remixes that were released for Back to You, Nurko does a great job introducing us to these 4 remixes. And this one is classic Nurko. I feel like this one is just very powerful, really like it's just a song you play and hits hard at festivals. But other than that, I think it pales in comparison to some other like the great Nurko songs. But this one it's also really good. It's also like high tier in the remix album, and I just loved it so much. Then we have the A1 or A1 remix of Back to You, and this one also is very good. It's like more harder dubstep, but other than that, I feel like it didn't really stand out. There's a lot of dubstep songs that have like really powerful drops, and I feel like this one like didn't stand out compared to like the other ones, but I also liked it and enjoyed. I think I enjoyed every single song on the album, and this one also does it for me. And the next one is very special for me because I love the style that Youth in Circles has, like that like melodic bass mixed with like pop punk feeling, kind of the same as Masari, kind of the same as the Castle remix. And this one also takes Back to You in very interesting directions. I feel like this one is just so good, and I love this direction that the song takes, and it's just so beautiful. Now, the next one is also really good. It's a kind of like mix of a melodic with drum and bass, and it is by Risku. And I just love this song. I think Risku is a great artist. He released a very amazing remix of a song called Without You, and it is just so good. And this one kind of like takes it in similar directions, But other than that, I feel like this one was fine, but it didn't really stick out compared to, for example, the Youth in Circles remix compared to the Nurko one. And but other than that, I just liked it, and it was a good remix. Now, we're almost there, guys. We're down to the second and final song. So we got 2 remixes for Nothing Ever After, which was one of my favorite songs in the album. And one of those songs is the Castor remix of Nothing Ever After. And I gotta say, this is my favorite song of the album. The Castor remix of this one is so good. It is so good, and it is just one of those remixes that take the song, like, they make you forget everything you knew about the previous one and turns it into something completely new that the artist is creating. This song, Castor took it and made it his. It is just so amazing. Like, the drops are amazing. The guitars are just, like, terrifying and jarring and so brutal. And I just loved it. I think it was just so amazing. And it just does the best out of it, especially with Chris from Motionless in White's voice singing throughout the song. The second song is also very similar. It is the Vendetta remix, and Vendetta also is making a killing right now with all the remixes he's released. His Hollow remix, I've listened to it a lot more times, and it's just so amazing. And this one, he takes it and just does the best. Like, he does what it does best. Like, the drops are amazing. They're, like, so powerful. Kind of like in that style of artists like Deathpack, like some of the Excision drops that he's done over the last couple years. It is just really amazing, and I enjoy this one so much too. And Love Me a Little is a song that really grew on me. It became like one of my favorite songs also from the album last year. And with this one, we got 3 remixes, 1 that is new and 2 that were released before. Starting with the new one, the Lineage remix of Love Me a Little is just so amazing. I think this is also one of the best remixes in the album. This one really knocked it out of the park. It also takes the song, even though it's like melodic bass, like it's kind of sounds like a song you listen to so many times, but the more you listen to it, the more the melodies just fill you with so much emotion and just make you move so well. And this one is just so amazing. I liked it so much. In the beginning, especially, like the new intro that it has just makes the song, like, lets you know the song is going to be completely different. And I've had it on repeat so many times. I just love the Lineage remix of Love Me a Little. Then the Bonnie X Clyde remix, it's also very good. I liked it. It's like another one of the house remixes, but other than that, it didn't really stand out that much to me, to be honest. And I say that because I'm really biased, because I like other genres more than house, because the next one is kind of the same. It's kind of like it's a drum and bass remix. It's the A7S remix, and this one is so good in a lot of ways, but I just love drum and bass. I think it's one of my favorite genres to just like vibe to. And it does a really good job with the soft drum and bass. It adds a very amazing flair to the song. But other than that, it is an okay song. I think it's a good drum and bass, but yeah, that's pretty much the extent of it. So what do you guys think? It's 45 remixes. I went over every single one. There's so many great ones here. Other ones that didn't stand out, but overall, I think that Illenium and all of these artists did an amazing job with the album. I think it is amazing that we got so many new ones here, and it is just a great album, and I love everything that Illenium is doing, like pushing the careers of so many talented artists out there. And these remixes are a testament to that, and I just loved all of them. I think I liked every single one of them, and yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts. So as a final score, I'm gonna give the Illenium remix album an 85 out of 100. It is definitely better than some of the other remix albums he's released. Definitely so much better than the Fallen Embers remix album, which I didn't like that much because of the lack of new remixes, which were not that good, to be honest, in my opinion. But this one really makes up for it with the massive amount of songs that are contained in here. So anyways, those are pretty much all my thoughts. So anyways, if you like this video, follow me for other updates, for more melodic bass reviews, for Ophelia Records reviews, also gameplay videos and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, those are pretty much all my thoughts on the album. So anyways, thank you guys for watching once again, and I'll see you next time.